Newcastle up for Manchester United next at St James's Park. This is going to be your preview. We'll be talking predicted team tactics, what to expect from the game, talking a bit about Newcastle as we always do. So don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into it. So Newcastle up next for Manchester United. It's going to be a very tough game. United actually haven't won at St James Park since the 4-1 victory in which Van der Beek scored and Mata and these sorts of players in 2020. So it's a difficult ground for United to go. Last season we got battered there 4-1. And again, Newcastle this season, I know we won against them earlier, but they're a very good team. Now let's talk about the Manchester United team news. No fresh injury concerns. At the time of recording, Carrick has not done his presser, so we won't know, but I'm assuming everyone is fit. I think De Ligt and Mount are still going to be out of the game, and everyone else is ready to go. Obviously, we'll have to see what happens with Luke Shaw because he went off in the game against Palace, but hopefully he's ready and back for this game. Martinez as well. We'll see what happens there, but that is kind of that on team news. We'll talk about that later on. But let's get into and talk about Newcastle. So listen, if you look at their stats this season, home form, they've won 7, drawn 2 and lost 5, picked up most of their points at home. In their last match, they lost actually though 3-2 against Everton, and they did struggle in that game. They're a team who is not playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. The performances have kind of been up and down. They're missing Bruno G at the moment, who's the key player for them and has actually been linked with a move to Manchester United, which is key. They've got Livramento out, who I think is a very, very good player, but we know they still have a lot of threat. Alanga's got pace, we know, and we've seen what he can do to United before. Gordon, Walter Marder, Joe Linton, these are all very, very good players, and it's going to be difficult to play against. St James Park is a very difficult game to go, and I think this is probably the game more recently that I'm more nervous about. I think Newcastle has been a tough place for a lot of teams to go, and with the crowd, it's going to be a fascinating game. It's a quick turnaround for Manchester United from the game against Palace, which doesn't make it any easy, but I certainly think United definitely do have the minerals to do that and to get the win. As I said, Newcastle this season, again, goals scored, as we always look at, they score 1.4 goals per match, which is 8th best in the league. United are actually third now with 1.8. Only City and Arsenal have a better goal scoring record than United. In goals conceded, 1.5, which is 13 in the league. United are up at 1.4. So listen, United, Newcastle both score goals, and I think that's going to be kind of sort of where the game kind of takes. I think it's going to be decided on kind of moments, as most games are, but especially in a game like this. And Palace, Newcastle have a decent record. They beat Qarabag convincingly 9-3 on aggregate. They lost to City, in which I didn't think they were great. They massively struggled to get out. And City absolutely cooked them, to be honest. Everton, I didn't actually watch the game, but looking at their sort of results and stats and stuff, it wasn't a great game for them. They currently sit 13th in the league out of their last 5, lost 4, won 1, so not in the greatest form. United again need these points for kind of getting into that third place. We're in third place, but solidifying our spot in the third place and potentially chasing Manchester City. Who knows what can happen there, but as long as we keep winning our games, that's something that's vital. Now the next thing we'll talk about is obviously the team news. Listen, in terms of the Manchester United team, I wouldn't make any changes really. Only if Luke Shaw is out injured, I'd bring in Mazraoui. I thought Mazraoui, considering he's fasting and he's been out for a while and been in and out of the team, I thought he come in and he did a very good job. It was a mature performance. He was very good defensively, put a lot of work in and put a lot of graft in, and I think we did see the quality in Mazraoui. I think we know that the ability that he has, and whether that's coming up against Gordon or Alanga, or whoever that is, I do back him to do a good job. Now the interesting question is, if you were to start Mazraoui, would you start him at right back and move Delo to left back, or would you start Mazraoui left back and move Delo and keep Delo at right back? What I would do, keep Mazraoui at left back. I think Mazraoui is a better left back than Dalot is a right back, and I think Dalot has been doing a decent job at right back, so there's no need to change him there. Le Mans obviously in goal. In terms of the two centre backs now, again, is it Martinez? Is it fit to return? I don't think it's quite ready. I think the turnaround's quite short, and I don't think United need to risk him in this game. So I'd go Maguire and Euro. Now I do worry about that because again, Euro was a bit shaky at times in the Palace game, making a mistake for the goal and whatnot. But I think with Maguire next to him, they're going to have to be on it aerially, physically. Newcastle are going to press high. And again, it's going to be a difficult atmosphere, so we need them early on to make the clearances, make the interceptions that they need to do. Now into midfield, again, Casemiro and Menu is a concern of whether Casemiro can play a game in such a short space of time. I think he should be able to. I think what you might see, depending on how the game's going, Casemiro off around the 65th minute and you bring on Ugarte. I think that's probably what will happen. I mean, after this, we have Villa on the weekend next week, so that's going to be another tricky game. So tough games coming from United, thick and fast, so we have to manage the squad. If I had to pick a game to start Ugarte, it would be this one over the Aston Villa game, but I think we still need Casemiro to play, and I'll probably take him off after 65 minutes. Menu next to him, obviously Menu had a decent game against Palace. I thought he tried to get onto the ball, tried to make things happen against a very aggressive Newcastle midfield. Is going to be interesting to see how he does. I think he definitely did have a lot of quality and talent, and we've seen that, so there's no need to change that. Bruno Fernandes, for me, has to start at the 10. I think that's something that makes sense. He's slowly chasing that goal record. He's got 20 goal contributions this season, 13 assists, 7 goals, which is ridiculous. Again, it might be difficult to get Bruno on the ball, but you look at his game against Palace, the way in which he went to the right, went to the left, put crosses into the box, got the goal. I back Bruno to get another goal or an assist in this game. It'd be kind of not rude. It'd be silly if we didn't. I think Bruno's been fantastic. His quality in the final third is ridiculous. So I'm excited to see what Bruno can produce in this game. Now the front three, Sesko has to start for me. I know we didn't get much out of Sesko in that first half, but I think we need him to start. Cunha has to start on the left. I think if you play with Ahmad and Mbuemo, you do lose a lot on that side, and Cunha's kind of the only right footer that we can have that can play there at the moment. And then it's kind of the conversation who to start on the right. I don't think Ahmad kind of did enough off the bench. I know he had a few shots to warrant a start. I know Mbuemo didn't have the greatest game against Palace either, but I'd go with Mbuemo over Ahmad and bring him on towards the end of the game. It could potentially see, I know this is kind of classified as one of those bigger games against a very good team. Give no disrespect to like Palace or whatever, but you could potentially see United away from home go with Mbuemo and Ahmad on the right and go in that 4-4-2 shape out of possession. So we'll have to wait and see, but that is my team. Le Bon's in goal, Dalot, Masraoui, Yoro, Maguire, Casemiro, Menu, Bruno, Mbuemo, Sesko, Cunha. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully Sesko can get another goal. Obviously Newcastle, as I said, they've got a lot of danger men. They're a physical team from set pieces. They're going to be up for it. I've watched them quite a few times this season, both times against Liverpool. I watched them against City more recently. They're a difficult team to play against. But listen, in terms of United, I think I'm confident about the win. It's not going to be easy, and this is the game that I'm most nervous about. Eddie Howe's a good manager, which we know, but I'm going to back United to get the win, so I'm going to go 2-1, now a 2-1 win. Let me know your thoughts.